Shortly after 4:30 p.m. on Monday, August 27th, 2018, Calvin Castine on the corner of Maple and Clinton Street in beautiful downtown Rouse's Point. We're here at the Champlain Children's Learning Center for a very important open house that's taking place and a ceremony that'll be happening in about an hour and a half. So we decided to get here early to beat the crowd, and we're going to go find somebody who might be able to fill us in on what's happening, give us an update on the Champlain Children's Learning Center in Rouse's Point. I figured there was no better place to start than with starting at the top. And who are you?
My name is Becky Fellion. I'm the director of the Champlain Children's Learning Center. We're celebrating our 20th anniversary tonight, and I've actually worked here all 20 years in a lot of different roles, so I guess I am kind of the one to talk to.
Okay, I've known Becky since she was just about the age of some of the people that come here, because you're the same age as my oldest son.
Yep.
My oldest son.
Yep.
Yeah. Just to tell you how old you are.
Yep, I'm not telling you.
I know. So, what is happening today, Becky?
So we're celebrating our 20th anniversary. About 20 years ago, Bob Morgan decided that there was a lack of childcare in this area, so he joined up with Jamie Basilier, who's here tonight, and they worked together to get some grants, and they got us started. When we started, we had 4 or 5 kids the first day, and now we're between 70 and 80 kids here, so there was definitely a need for it. We've expanded a few times over the years, and purchased our building, and we've accomplished a lot. We decided 20 years deserved to have a celebration, so we've invited some old friends back and some press to be here, and hopefully we can show off our center tonight.
All right, now 20 years ago with the 4 or 5 kids, it's come a long way.
It's come a long way, yep.
Now, of course, we got to mention who Bob Morgan is, or was, I should say, because at that time he was working at Kimpex. Yep. He was the person in charge of getting all the new businesses into the former Harris Graphics Sheridan Ironworks site. And of course, if you're trying to hire people, you got to make sure they've got a place to deposit their children, if I can use that word. Yep. I'm sure there's a more proper way of saying it, but that's your line, right?
If you don't have daycare, you don't have workers. So.
That's right. So Bob realized that, and of course Jamie was very much involved with a lot of stuff like that, and apparently she's still involved.
Oh, yes, yep. She's been actively involved all 20 years. She is the executive director of the Childcare Council in Plattsburgh, and she's served on our board pretty much nonstop through the years, and she's here for every event, and this is kind of a special place in her heart too, so she's stuck with us.
Well, since she was one of the ones who made it happen.
We'll make sure she gets interviewed too.
Okay. Now, for some folks who are older than you, this might look a little familiar. It's the former St. Patrick's school here, the second version of St. Patrick's School.
Yep. Yeah, it was St. Patrick's School, and then Serendipity was here for a little while with Donna Racine, and then it stayed empty for a few years, and we jumped on it and moved in. So when we started, we only used 3 of the rooms. And then as we got more kids, we took over more and more classrooms, and then we worked out a deal with the church to take over the whole building and buy it off from them.
Yeah,
so.
It's owned, and what is it, a nonprofit corporation?
Yes, we're a nonprofit 501c3. Yep.
Okay. All right, and so how many classrooms do you use?
We use all but 2 rooms right now for actual classrooms, so if you want to take a look at them, we can.
Sure.
We might start at the beginning with the babies.
Well, okay, start with the babies. All right. So is this where the babies are? We didn't have to go very far.
Is it okay if we come in and film? Are you going
to? Well, anybody wanted by the FBI where I can't take your picture?
Oh, goodness.
I guess we're okay. So what happens in here? Oh, I got to shut the door here before somebody escapes.
Well, we're at the end of the day, so we've got some parents picking up, and these are some people that are here for our party. You might remember David Bray.
Yep.
And Jamie Basilier.
Hi, Calvin. How are you?
Good, Jamie. Nate?
Still filling all of them.
Oh, I'm trying to.
Yep. He was here for our first open house, so he's decided to come for this one.
Judy keeps throwing me out the door, Dave. So.
Yeah, so this room is for kids from 6 weeks to 18 months. They can actually stay in here until they're about 2 years old, but usually around 18 months is when we start moving them to the next age group. And
Okay, so how many can you handle?
we can have 8 infants in here, and we usually have 2 or 3 staff members in here. The
Okay.
ratio is 1 to 4 in here, so
1
for
to
every
4?
4 children, you have to have 1 person. So, but we often have more than that in here. So.
All right, so what happens if number 9 applies? They have a
They
waiting
have to
list?
go on a waiting list for a while, and it's kind of tricky once you're on the waiting list, because this is kind of the hardest room to book, because you have to wait for the babies to be born, and
Right.
they come when they want to come. So it's hard to plan a waiting list in here, but we do keep families on. A lot of families call as soon as they know they're having a baby. They get their name on the list, and then we just kind of piece them in as children move up or leave. However, it works with the birth dates, and we try to get everybody in when we can.
Well, I'm going to put you on the spot right away, Becky. You know, what happens if I've been bringing all my kids here, and
We do
gonna,
give preference.
or we're
yes.
going to have another
Yep.
one, but somebody's going to have one a month before
Yeah.
me. But
Yeah, we do give preference to families that are already enrolled here.
because you want to keep the families
Yeah.
together,
Yes.
obviously.
Yeah, it's very hard to take your kids to 2 or 3 different places.
Well, sure,
so.
sure.
Yeah.
Plus, do they ever intermingle? Do the kids ever?
This room is pretty self-contained because all of the kids haven't had their shots yet in here, so we try to keep this room by regulation kind of separate from the rest of the building. They have their own playground. They kind of do their own thing in here. As they get into the older grades, then we do more intermingling between the kids. So.
All right. So, what are the hours that people can bring them in? And
We open at 6:30 in the morning and we close at 5:30 in the evening.
so you're here all 11
Yep.
hours.
Yep.
You?
Not all day,
Oh,
but
okay.
some days I am.
And that's 5 days a week.
Yep,
Right?
5 days a week, Monday through Friday. We only close for major holidays, and we close for a week at Christmas time. We follow the school calendar at Christmas time only. So
Okay,
yeah, we're
so
here on snow days. We're here on days of no school. We have a school age program where kids can come in.
So 5:30, you said you close.
Yep.
So that can be tough on a snowy day if somebody works out of town. It
Yep.
may be tough to get here on time. So
Yep.
I would imagine that once in a while you.
Once in a while,
you
yeah.
have
But
to,
we stay until they're picked up.
Well, yeah.
So it's,
Okay, well, closing time. Good luck, kid.
yeah, that's one of the things that makes our closers special, is that sometimes they get to stay a little late for us, but other times they get to leave early when everybody's left early.
Oh, yeah,
So
everybody's
we
closed up.
try to keep it fair for them.
All right. Anything else we should know about this room, Bex?
Not really. I think it's pretty self-explanatory in here.
All right. Lots of
And right
cribs.
now our room is full. We've been for quite a while where we weren't full, but in the last few weeks we've booked right up.
Filled
So
up.
yep, this room is full.
Well, I imagine as you get, we're a week before school opens here. Imagine as you get closer to school days, people think of you.
Yep.
All right. Shall we move on?
Yep.
All right. We'll get back to Jamie and Dave later, but. So we're not going very far. We're going to the next room.
Do you have anybody that can't be filmed in there?
Anybody? Anybody? As far as we know, everybody can be filmed, and of course, that's something I know in covering a lot of school events, that's something
Yep.
you've got to be concerned about is,
Making sure that parents are okay with them being filmed.
right?
So.
Yeah. Not that
So
we're
this
zooming
is-
in on any of the kids. So
Yep.
go ahead.
This is our toddler room, and they move over here around 18 months, and they can stay in here until they're 3. And this is probably the busiest room in the building. They're doing potty training in here. They're learning about personal space. They're starting to do more talking and learning a lot of self-help skills. And this is kind of the most physically demanding room to work in because it's a lot of lifting, a little bit of screaming.
Sometimes the caretaker is the one
Yep.
doing the screaming. But
Yeah. But this is a really fun room to work in too. This is a great age in here.
All right, so that's 18 months to 3 years, and I imagine you play it by ear a little bit if the kid just needs to get here a little earlier or leave a little.
We have a 3-month leeway when they move to preschool, so they can actually move at 33 months. Because sometimes you get a kid that's bored in the toddler room because they're just very advanced.
Right.
We have a 3-year-old program that we'll see next that we can look at. But yeah, so we kind of base it on development. They have 3 months before and 3 months after their birthday to move between rooms. So it gives us a little bit of playing room.
Okay, and how many can you handle here?
In here we can have 10, and the ratio is 1 to 5 in here. So, and we are at 10 almost all the time in this room. This is usually our busiest. The waiting list is always the longest for this room.
Now, people catch colds once in a while, or have some emergency in their family. Do you have extra staff? What happens with?
We kind of have a substitute system right from within. We try to keep a floater, what we call a floater here, that can work in any classroom. And if somebody's out, that's when we put that person in. If we end up with more than one person out, that's when the assistant director and I put on our teaching shoes and go back into classrooms. So, but we try to keep the staff the same in the rooms as much as we can, to keep it as consistent as possible for the kids, especially in the infant room. It's as they get older, they're a little better about new staff, but in the younger grades, it's a little harder.
Well, they must see you during the course of the day, though. You imagine you stop in once in a while.
Yeah, I'm in and out of rooms all the time, so I'm a familiar face for them.
So who's the assistant, before I forget that?
Kathy Tatro is our assistant director.
She's the one
She's right over there, if you want to say hi to her.
She's the one who said, get out of here. Becky's down the hall, so. Okay. Anything else in this room, Becky?
No, I think that's it.
All right, we're going to move on to the next one. We've moved down to the, the west end of the building. Trying to think outdoors when I'm indoors here. And this room is?
This is our 3-year-old room, and this is kind of new. We used to keep our 3s and 4s combined for a while. Then with UPK being here, we had a separate room just for the 4-year-olds. Then we went back to 3 to 5s, and we realized it was better to keep the 3-year-olds and the 4-year-olds more separate.
Okay.
This is a young 3-year-old room. We call it our flex room, and it's for kids that have just moved out of the toddler room or have never been in preschool before. So they're in here till they're like 3 1/2, 3 1/4. Then we start moving them into the older room as they're ready. So the numbers are smaller in here. There's extra staff in here. There's a toilet in here, so they're potty training and things like that. And we just found it's better to keep them in a smaller group, and we found that they definitely flourish better with that program. And we were able to upgrade this room into a flex program with a grant from the Adirondack Foundation. So they gave us some money to fix up the room and get some more appropriate toys for them. And our limousine changing table over here that's designed for larger kids. So.
Okay.
Yep.
You said UPK, so some people will know what UPK is and others won't. So
that was a 4-year-old program. It's a free program that is offered from the state, and it was through the Northeastern District. And they initially didn't have room for it in their school, so they contracted with us, and I actually taught it for about 10 years before I became the director. And we had the program for, I think, 12 years. And the district just recently reabsorbed it into their school. They now have room for it. So that was a bit of a loss for us, but it's helped us to also put in new programs like this program.
So that's for age group of 3 and 4, or just 4?
That's all 4-year-olds.
All 4-year-olds.
Yeah.
So the child doesn't have to go to UPK. They have to go to kindergarten, but they don't have to go to UPK. So
right.
I imagine you've got some here that
yeah, we still have some here, and then we have some that are traveling back and forth between the two. The parents bring them to UPK in the morning, and then they'll come here in the afternoon.
So UPK is only a half day?
Yeah, it's a half-day program.
So that's got to be a little bit of a burden for the people who don't utilize you.
Yeah.
Their 4-year-old has half a day of school, and
then
all of a sudden,
the district does bus the kids in the morning and in the evening. In the midday, there's no busing, so parents have to try and figure out a way to get the kids to where they need to be, to their daycares or to their homes or whatever. But it seems to all work out. Everybody gets where they're going.
So yeah, they have a choice of morning or afternoon. Is that how it works?
Yeah.
So.
And we just offer the opposite. We have a very flexible program in our preschool room. So we have some kids that come half days, some that come full days, some that come a couple days a week, some that come all day every day. So.
Yeah, they might have depending on your parents' work schedules, a parent might be home, 2 days a week, be available, and or a grandparent or whatever. All right, so this is the 3-year-olds.
In this room, we also offer what we call preschool experience, and that's for families that they don't really need daycare, but they want their kids to have a chance to kind of have a school experience before they go to a full-time UPK or something like that. So we have a lot of families that'll do like 1 day a week or 2 days a week in the mornings, and just to get a taste of what it's like to be in a school building. because it can be overwhelming for kids when they first start. So,
as I mentioned earlier, we're a week from the start of the school. Do you get busier once school starts with so many kids?
It's a different kind of busy. During the summer, we have a full-day school-age program, so they're here all day in the summer. And then during the school year, we end up with a few more preschoolers during the day. But our school-agers only come in the afternoon, so it's still the same amount of kids, just different times of the day.
Okay, so you have school-age kids. Tell us about that.
School-age is busy. We can go, the school-age room is right next door. If you want to look at that. Yeah.
All right.
So
Across the hall.
Two classrooms for school age.
All right.
We try to split them up, younger in one room, older in another room.
And what's younger and what's older?
Anywhere from 5 to 7 is usually in the younger room, and then 7 and up is in the older room.
How far is up?
We can go up to 12 years old.
Okay.
Usually we see kids start to age out around 10 is when we start to see parents trying, babysitters at home and things like that as they let their kids get more responsibilities and stuff like that. But, we're very flexible with how we split the rooms, and sometimes from day to day we'll switch off. If the kids want to play together, we can swap rooms. They're allowed to combine. It's a very flexible program. We have the 2 classrooms. We have right now, I think, 26 children on our school age list, so that's up quite a bit this year.
So most of those are just going to be here. Now, how about you get a snow day with some of those school-age kids?
We're open on snow days. We don't usually get too many on snow days, maybe 5 or 10 at the most, but we do have the classroom open for anyone that needs it. Once in a while we'll close on a snow day, but it has to be pretty bad.
So even though the school is closed, doesn't mean you guys are closed.
Right, we're usually still open. If we can get the driveway shoveled out, we're usually here.
All right, so this is another one across the hall here?
This is for the older school-age kids.
Older school-age kids. 8, 9, 10, and 11.
This is where you're seeing more homework, and we do help the kids with homework. We set aside time and space so that they can get their homework done. There's a lot more homework than there ever used to be, so that's why this room's more tables.
All right, well, there's no homework this summer, so what'd you keep them busy doing?
They love to play board games, surprisingly. Board games and card games, that's kind of been their biggest thing. We do a lot of outside. We try to get them outside every day. We travel to the rec park, and sometimes we go to the elementary school and use their playground. And we've got our playground here. We try not to do too much structured stuff with them because they get so much of that in school. This is supposed to be their summer break.
Vacation, right?
Yeah, so we try to do we've done some water play. We set up a sprinkler one day, and they had a pizza party last week. They're doing ice cream next week. So we try to, we make it more child-led during the summer, where they kind of come up with what they want to do, and they vote on things. If they want to go outside, they all go outside and stuff like that. But
so you got more people here during the summer, kid-wise. Do you need more help?
We usually take on at least one person in the summer, and a lot of times it's a college student. We try to catch college students when we can, especially if they're going into elementary ed or early childhood education. They kind of like coming here, so it's a good chance for them to get some experience before they're actually out in the real world teaching. And it's been very helpful too. We've seen a lot of people come here for the summer, and then later on you see their name at Rouse's Point Elementary or Moore's Elementary. Mm-hmm. So we've actually, that's something else that we're kind of proud of here, is that we've helped a lot of teachers get a start, not just the kids.
So what are the requirements for somebody who works here?
For an assistant in the classroom, and they can work in any classroom, they have to have at least a high school diploma or a GED equivalent, something like that. To become a teacher, you have to have what's called a CDA credential. It's a Child Development Accreditation, and that's basically a 1-year, it's about the equivalent of a year of college, and it's a specialized course for early childhood. It's specialized whether you're doing infants and toddlers or preschoolers, and that's the minimum requirement.
Now, is that available at Clinton, or where?
That's actually available at, you can do it online, or our girls usually go through the Childcare Coordinating Council. They have a staff member there that's trained to teach it.
Okay.
So it kind of works well with our program. That's usually what we choose to do. And then they have to go through testing, and they have someone come in and observe them, and So it's pretty rigorous what they have to go through to get that accreditation.
And I imagine you do a lot of background checks too.
Yes, we
In
do.
this day and age, you
We do
gotta-
3 background checks before we hire someone. So
Anything else, Becky? We should.
no, go down to our 4-year-old program.
All right, we're going to the 4-year-olds here. And once again, we're talking with Becky Filio, the director. What's your title?
The director.
The director.
The boss.
The boss. Uh-oh.
They got me a shirt that says boss lady.
That's it. The boss lady. Now this room is packed here with stuff. This is your 4-year-olds?
This is our 4-year-old room, and this is where we really start getting kids ready for school. We use the Letter People program. We have the most updated version of that. We were able to get a grant last year to buy the most advanced version of the Letter People, and the kids love it. And it's something that we really enjoy doing here too. And really the focus is learning the letters and the numbers and colors and shapes and getting all those skills ready for when they go to kindergarten so that they have that head start. And we try to keep track of what they're doing in UPK as well so that we're supporting what they're being taught over there, especially for the kids that are going back and forth. So.
So how many do you handle here?
We can have up to 14 in here. If it's all 4-year-olds, we can actually go up to 16, but we try to stay at the 14 range. So.
All right, now I think I heard you say you had 8 of the toddler, the little ones, the baby infants. Seems like your pyramid is getting bigger at the top here. Are you available to expand your infant ones, or?
It's hard to expand the infant room because you need to have the plumbing in the room. We have to have sinks and the cribs, and it's a very expensive room to run. So that's why we stay with just the one room. We did, when we had UPK here, we had a 3rd preschool room, but we've contracted back since then to accommodate where we are. But we do have 2 extra rooms that we have some flexibility with. So if our school age gets bigger, then we can go into one of those rooms. If our preschool gets bigger, we can go into another one of those rooms.
All right. So what else should we know? Besides the school bell is ringing.
That's our security system. We do have a security system here. Parents all have a code to come in. That's something that we like to advertise too, is that we really put a lot of emphasis on safety of the children here. So that's something that we've had since the beginning. It was expensive, but it was worth doing for that.
So you don't get in unless somebody lets you in,
Right.
or you've got your own
Or
code.
you have your own code. Yep.
Now, is the record kept? So if somebody punches in their code, you know
Yep,
who
we
was
can
here
go on the
when?
computer and see that. We just upgraded, I think 3 years ago, to a system that does keep track of that. So if we had to print out codes, we could. The door automatically unlocks if the fire alarm goes off so that we can get in and out. But we can also shut the system right down. If we ever had to do a lockdown drill, we can shut the system right down so that nobody's code works, and we would have complete security here. So.
Okay. Now, what's going to happen later today?
We're going to have a little celebration where we thank a lot of the people that have helped us. We are a nonprofit, and money is always very tight here. Our budget is, there's no frills in our budget. After you've paid your staff and your insurances and your heat bills and stuff like that, there's not much left. So we rely a lot on donations, fundraisers, and a lot of businesses in the community. And we've had some businesses that have really helped us out a lot, and we want to acknowledge them. And hi there. Is it okay that she's feeling okay? That's Melody.
Melody
And,
just makes herself at home
yep.
here, doesn't she? Yeah.
It's a home away from home here. It's good advertisement, right? So we just wanted to take the time to thank some of them, to thank our board members and some of our staff members. Myself and one other staff member, Leanne Rye, we've both been here for the 20 years, so we're getting a little something.
Oh, I bet that was your idea.
Yep. Yep. And we're doing a little something for Jamie Basilier too, because she's done so much over the 20 years. So.
Okay, now, these kids eat, I imagine. Do you have a kitchen here? How do they?
We provide a breakfast and a snack for them. The parents provide their own lunch for them, so they do a bag
They
lunch.
bring in a lunch.
Yep. During the summer, the last 3 summers, we've been able to work with State Ed and the Legion in Ross's Point, and they did the summer lunch program with us. So we were able to provide free lunches for them throughout the summer. And that's kind of hit or miss year to year whether you're going to have that or not, but it's been really nice the last 3 years to be able to offer that. But during the school year, the kids bring their own lunches, and like I said, we do breakfast and snack. And
How do you do breakfast?
It's simple things that you can cook in a toaster. We don't have an oven here or anything like that, but we do cereals and fruits, and we try to do as much fresh fruit as we can and fresh vegetables. And so we try to keep it as healthy as we can.
All right. I'm running out of questions, Becky.
I would like to say something about the Quality Stars program. We voluntarily joined Quality Stars probably 8 or 9 years ago, and Quality Stars is a rating system in New York State that it's a very aggressive rating system where they come in and they evaluate your center from top to bottom, from your finances to whether you wear gloves or not, things like that. It's very in-depth and it's a lot of work. But we have successfully increased our score from a 3 to a 4-star out of 5, which is considered excellent in our field. So we're pretty proud of that too. And we like to let parents know about that because it's a lot about making your classrooms better, making your teachers better, training, really making it as high quality as we can.
Yeah, I mean they're trusting you with their kids here, and
Yep.
that's an important job, Becky. I hope you realize that.
It's a very important job. Yep.
Okay, so you have people that oversee you, even though you're the boss.
Yeah, we have a board of directors, and that's who I answer to. And right now, I think we have 12 members on our board.
That's a lot of.
We have a very active. Other agencies are jealous of our board because we have a lot of members, and we have very active members, and we do allow parents to be on our board. We usually allow 2 or 3 parents to be on it, so that we're getting their perspective too. It's important to hear what parents want here. So, and we've been very fortunate that a lot of our board members stay for a long time. They're required to take a year off every 6 years, and they dread that year off, and they can't wait to come back. So we've really been lucky with our boards.
So who decides who's on the board?
Anybody can apply. They send us a letter, and then the board votes on it. And I don't think we've ever turned anybody away.
So there's no set number? You said you got 12 right now?
We have to keep a minimum of 8, I think, on our board. I think that's the...
And if you get more, then you...
If we get more, that's great.
Alrighty. So I guess that's going to be it till, was it 6 o'clock? It's 5:07 right now.
To Jamie?
Yeah, I'll talk to Jamie. Yeah, sure.
Jamie?
All right, we've got who?
I'm Jamie Basilier.
Jamie Basilier. I've been hearing that name for the last couple of decades, haven't I?
There you go. Yes, for a long, long time.
I can read there. It says Executive Director, Childcare Council. What is that, Childcare Council?
Well, we are a not-for-profit organization based in Plattsburgh, and we help parents find childcare and recruit new childcare providers. We have a multitude of other programs and services too, but the one that brings me here tonight is our childcare resource and referral operation. So it was back in 1996 that David Bray and Bob Morgan introduced themselves to me, saying, "Lack of childcare in the Northern Tier is a challenge to our workforce.
And what are you going to do about it?
And what am I going to do about it?" And what you see here today is what we did about it. We started a child care center.
And it's worked out great, hasn't it?
Well, it has worked out really beautiful. This program is a gem. It is a labor of love. The people who work here are so dedicated to making sure that youngsters have a very high quality early childhood education.
Okay, now you must be associated with other facilities similar to this, obviously not as good as this one, but similar.
So this child care center is licensed by New York State Office of Children and Family Services, and it is one of about 25 child care centers in Clinton County, and it's the only one up here in the Northern Tier. I would have to add that the JCEO Head Start Center in the Three Steeples Church is also licensed as a child care center. But this is the only one open year-round, all day, designed for working families. And it's the only one licensed for infants and toddlers and school-age children, in addition to preschool-age children. And the facility is really very special. There's really nowhere where there are 900 square foot rooms available for childcare rooms. We have about 3 times as much square footage as is required by the licensing regulations.
Wow.
And as you can see, I mean, it just gives children a lot of space to play and grow.
Yeah, I'm sure for the people who are at St. Patrick's, it must be very gratifying that their school is still being put to such good use.
I would hope that it is. It's, this building is really a gem. It's stood the test of time, and I'll knock wood. We haven't had any, major building problems in the past couple of years. So, it's got a relatively new furnace. It's got a middle-aged roof, and it was built very well when it was built.
Okay, so how much hands-on do you do? This is a self-contained entity here, but do they answer to you? Do you just offer advice, or how does that work?
So I serve on the board, and I am this year the president of the board. So, as a not-for-profit agency, it is the board of directors who is legally responsible for the operation of this corporation. We hire Becky, and she operates the day-to-day and has the day-to-day responsibility of staff supervision and working with the families and enrolling children and making sure that the curriculum is appropriate and high quality. But the board is really, the buck stops with the board. So I sort of have a dual role in that I do serve on the board, and the agency that I work for lends support and training and technical assistance to childcare programs. So I sort of feed 2 birds with one hand when I volunteer here, because it is services that my agency offers, and it's services that a board member would offer as well.
All right, now your Childcare Council is what it's called. Is that anything to do with the county per se? The county government has no say over it?
The Childcare Council is also a not-for-profit corporation governed by a board. So I report to a board myself, and I have 12 board members who are legally responsible for the operation of the Childcare Council of the North Country. So we are not a county organization. We are a not-for-profit agency. We're funded by grants that we receive. In this case, a grant from the New York State Office of Children and Family Services to provide support and technical assistance to child care programs. And we do that throughout Clinton, Essex, and Franklin counties.
Oh, so you've got 3 counties.
We do.
Okay.
We do.
How did the Child Care Council come into existence? What happened?
Goodness. So the Child Care Council is going to be celebrating its 30th anniversary this October. So we came about in 1988. Now I was not around in 88. I was hired in 1992. But back in the 80s, I call them the founding mothers of the Child Care Council because they were all mothers at the time from around Clinton, Essex, and Franklin counties who came together because they had a hard time finding high quality, affordable child care. And so they formed the Child Care Council and incorporated in 1988. And the work that we did back then, we continue today, and that is helping parents find childcare, recruiting new childcare providers, helping new programs get established and licensed, and then providing ongoing support and technical assistance to them. And we do that today in childcare programs all over the North Country. This one is near and dear to my heart because I was in on the ground floor. I was a board member from day one. I was Bob Morgan's right-hand gal, and he was really the brains and the heart and soul behind this center, and I did whatever I could to help him.
Now, when students and children come here, there's got to be a set fee. How can people find out what that is?
Yes, so they would call Becky Filion or Kathy Tatro. Becky's the director. Kathy is the assistant director. They would simply call or stop in and inquire. There is tuition that families pay each week, and that gets set by the board of directors every year, and that is the primary source of income for the operation of this center, in addition to numerous fundraisers and funding also from the United Way.
Okay, so there is help if some parents can afford it, some can't?
Yes, so the county, Clinton County, has a subsidy program that helps pay for the child care of low-income families so that they can work and send their children here. And there is a waiting list for the child care subsidy program, but the county does fund a handful of children's weekly tuition so that their parents can work. And then the funding from the United Way fills some gaps for families who have a hardship, who don't qualify for the county program, but who still are having a hard time making ends meet. So that is what the United Way funding is allocated for.
Okay. I'm going to put you on the spot here. Do you know the phone number in case people want to call?
I do. It's 518-297-2019. Extension 0 to get to the office.
Oh, my, next year that'll be a great phone number, 2019.
There you go. Oh, who would have thought that's a perfect, Calvin.
And there's a website, Facebook page?
You know, I think that there is a Facebook page, but I don't believe that the Learning Center has a website.
Okay.
So 297-2019.
2019. Think of next year. All right. Anything else, Jamie?
That's all, Calvin. Thank you so much.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
We probably won't have much of a chance to look at this when it's cut. This is their official happy 20th anniversary cake.
You get the first cut, right?
That's right.
It's a nice square cake.
All right, Becky is cutting the cake here. It's right around 5:30. The early bird gets the cake today.
Vivian's been waiting.
All right. Mrs. Tatro's gonna
I'm gonna make a mess of it. It's my turn. Getting that first one off.
I'll just take the first picture here to see how good a sorter she is. Whoop. Whoop. There we go.
The first one off.
That first one was successful. All right.
First one's out and the race is on.
All right. All right, the cake has been distributed, except for a few folks here who just arrived. Nice turnout for this 20th anniversary celebration for the Champlain Children's Learning Center. As soon as this young lady here gets her cake, we'll be moving on.
Get started. Most of you already know me, but my name is Becky Filion. I'm the director of the Champlain Children's Learning Center.
As you know, we're here to celebrate our 20th anniversary tonight, and I feel privileged to say that I'm one of the original employees here at CCLC. Leanne Ryan is also an original member, and Julie Rigsby is one of our originals too. She actually retired from the Learning Center. It's been an honor to be a part of this organization for the last 20 years, and we've been through much here. My plan was to work here for a year and move on to an elementary school. However, like so many people involved in CCLC, I fell in love and stayed. We have heard this so many times over the years. I stayed for a minute and fell in love. That's what's so special about CCLC. We have a lot of people to thank tonight for making these 20 years happen. And I'm going to start with our current board of directors. Our president is Jamie Basilier. Jamie is actually one of the founders of this place, and she's been an active member of our board for 20 years. Our vice president is Karen Gelano. Our secretary is Jessica Badger, and she's also served as a parent representative in the past. Her children are now like 16 and 10. So. Michelle LaFountain is our treasurer. Karen Weierstahl is one of our newer board members. She has some young children here at the center. Tammy Seguin, I don't believe it's here tonight, but she's just joined our board in the last year. Mike Lehar has been a longtime member of our board. He has children ranging from 17 to 6, so he's been here for almost all of this. Bridget Callisti is in the back there. She has a child in our preschool room. Sue Hope couldn't be here tonight. She had a family emergency, but she's been on our board for 6 or 7 years now. Wendy Engelbrecht in the back. Mary O'Connor. We have a lot of retired teachers on our board. Lisa Roberts and Chris Huckrow. Chris Huckrow has also been on our board for many, many years. He has a child graduating from high school this year and going to Clarkson in the fall. So. Many of these people have served multiple terms on our board, and this is a very active board. Other agencies are jealous of the number and level of activity that we have on our board. We would also like to thank some of our past board members as well, many who played instrumental parts in forming the center, and many who have served over the years. Some of our most notable members, some were actually able to make it tonight, is David Bray. Actually worked side by side with Bob Morgan to help get this place started. Ann LeDuc had to leave, but she was here for a little while. She served as our board president for many years. Nancy Hughes, Harry McManus, Matt Ware, Berna Badger, and Salim Paquette actually interviewed me for my job here. Thank you, Salim. There have been many more along the way, and all played a huge role in making CCLC the success it is. I couldn't possibly list everyone. I hope there's none here that I forgot. The part of CCLC has always been its staff. These people are the reason that parents choose to stay with us and recommend us to their friends and coworkers. These are incredibly dedicated people who do an extremely demanding job for very little pay. They give selflessly and go far above and beyond their daily required schedules. They buy their own supplies, bring treats for the children, donate time and supplies to fundraisers, and come to work every day because they love what they do. And I want to name the ones that are here tonight. Kathy Tatro is our assistant director. She's been here for 19 years. Our infant room is Leanne Rye. She's 20 years. Anna Bruno and Vicki Tatro. We also have a volunteer in our infant room, Miss Connie Manning. Is she still here? Yeah, she is. Our toddler room lead teacher is Amanda Hilliker. And the aides in her room are Jessica Audi and Jackie Spence. In our preschool 1 red room, the teacher is Tammy Brink, who's been here for 19 years. Emily Wynn and Christy Kopic. Preschool 2, our lead teacher is Shane, we'll have 2 lead teachers in the fall, Shayna Castine and Angie Roberts. Shayna just had a baby, so she's not here tonight. Our school age, again, is Shayna Castine, Angie Roberts, Amy Riel, and our newest hire, today was her first day, Michaela Audi. We also have some former staff here that have joined us tonight. Julie Rigsby, like we said, is one of our other originals.
Jen Underwood, who worked here for almost 17 years, I think. And Jerry Carter, who worked in our infant toddler room, probably a total of 9 years or so altogether. She left for a while and then came back. We were hoping that Miss Bobby Johnson could make it tonight, but apparently she can't, unless she'll come in later. But she was our original director, and she's the one that actually got the place started and did most of the hiring originally. So hopefully we'll see her tonight. If not, she was a huge asset to our program. We have been blessed with a lot of longevity in our staff, as you heard, and it is heartbreaking when one leaves because we become like family. We have a very deep history with our staff, but we also have a lot of new faces, and they're showing a very bright future for us. So thank you to all our old and new staff. We couldn't have a 20-year celebration without mentioning Mr. Robert Morgan. You may have noticed his plaque on your way into the Robert Morgan building, also known as the Learning Center. CCLC was his dream 20 years ago, and his devotion is what made it happen and made it become a success. He inspired our board and staff throughout the years to want this place to be special and to give it our all. He is the heart and soul of CCLC, and we still feel his presence here. It was a very sad day when we lost Bob, but we know he's still looking out for us. He would be very proud right now. Throughout his years of dedication to CCLC, there was another special person standing right by his side, his wife, Mrs. Ann Morgan. I had a spot for her up front, but she continues to support CCLC, and we always love when she comes to visit us. We are very honored to have her here tonight, and we have a special thank you for her. So, you gotta come up anyway.
Thank you so much. They just love you. I'm so happy and proud of all of you. You do such a great work. I taught in St. Mary's for 25 years. I see some of my students. And I know how hard it is, but how wonderful that you get so much joy. Thank you.
She doesn't look any different than she did when she was my third grade teacher. Right, Bridget? Exactly. She doesn't believe it when we say that, but it's true. So the history of the Learning Center. We moved into this building in 1998 with 5 terrified staff members and 4 children. The building was old and had been left to deteriorate over the years. 3 rooms were initially remodeled. Within a year, we had to expand our school-age program and our preschool program due to high demand. Later on, we were awarded the UPK grant, which expanded us even further. It also gave us the financial stability to sign a mortgage to purchase our building from St. Patrick's Church. We also partnered with North Country Kids for several years, and that was instrumental in paying off the mortgage in 10 years' time. We've weathered many financial setbacks over the years, including furnace replacement, roof repair, loss of North Country Kids, UPK absorbing into the school district, and the loss of Pfizer as our biggest family employer. Somehow, we've always persevered. Through creating new partnerships, grants, fundraisers, and hard work, we've seen ourselves through the hard times. It always comes back to the same thing. CCLC is worth fighting for, so people fight for it. I wasn't going to get emotional. We've watched our staff grow up, get married, have children, move on to greater achievements, and more. We became a family and have helped each other through the ups and downs of life. We've been very lucky in that when one staff member leaves, another special person joins us. We know that we have the support to make it through just about anything. Finally, and most importantly, we've had the privilege of watching countless children grow and flourish. Some stay with us for just a little while others are here for years. Some have come back to work for us, and others have brought their own children to us. Many of these children now serve as nurses, doctors, teachers, engineers, serve our country, and attend college. It's always exciting to see the graduation list and the careers that the kids choose. It makes us feel old, but it also makes us proud to know that we may have played a part in their success. We've had many highs and lows over the years. I can do this. We've had many highs and lows over the years. However, the highs easily outweigh the lows. There is never a day that you don't hear laughter in this building, no matter how bad your day is going. That's why we come to work each day. We have some very important thank yous to hand out tonight, and we certainly wouldn't be here without the help of these people over the years. A certificate seems insignificant for all these groups and what these people have done for us. However, they never look for acknowledgement. They go above and beyond because they deem CCLC a worthy cause, and we cannot thank them enough for it. The quote on the certificate is from John F. Kennedy, and it says, "One person can make a difference." And these people are proof of that. So our first certificate is for Rainey's Repair, and they are owned by Chad and Tammy Poirier. Their children came here for many years, so we had a little bit of an in with them. But they took on the challenge of our heating system when Smith & Son stopped repairing heating systems, and that's a big thing to take on. Over the years, they've come here many times to keep our heat on and our doors open. They're always willing to wait for payments, do installments, and help us get grants to pay for the repairs that we need. And I think right now, our furnace is up to date. And also Tammy Poirier, who is the co-owner of Rainey's Repair, was responsible for getting a grant that purchased all of our cribs in the infant room when we had to upgrade our cribs. So that was a huge expense that she got paid for us. Yeah, sure. Next is for Andy and Kyler Gay. Andy and Kyler have been responsible for all of the lawn mowing, most of the plowing here over the years. When they first started here, Kyler was sitting on Pepe's lap to mow the lawn, and now Kyler runs the business to mow the lawn. So Andy always was a huge donor for us, and he's done a lot of work for us over the years, so he's somebody that we've really appreciated. But Andy and Kyler Gay. The next one may surprise you, but one of our biggest helpers is Randy Bedard and Randy Bedard Excavation. He happened to come in one day and saw what we do here and how not easy it is, and kind of fell in love with the place. So he's been doing a lot of, he does our sanding and salting, he's done a lot of repairs, he fixed our back driveway, and he's always willing to wait for payments, he's always willing to do installments, and when he has leftover tarmac or something like that, he'll just come down and patch our driveways for him. So, Randy Bedard. We also need to recognize the United Way of the Adirondack region. We've been a partner with them almost since day one, I think. Pretty early on we started working with them. Over the years, they have given us grants that help with the tuition assistance program, food and food supplies for many years. They paid for the driveway repairs that Randy did, our infant and toddler playground, our front step, and just making connections with agencies throughout the business. So they've been a huge help to us over the years. The next two go together, Jill Beeman and Pam Keeble from Keeble Accounting in Ross's Point. They have been working with us for 7 or 8 years now, doing our payroll and our payroll taxes, so I don't have to think about any of that stuff. I've never caught Jill in a mistake, but she catches me a lot. I want to take a minute here to do a special thank you to Connie Manning. I mentioned her earlier. She is a volunteer here. She does about 3 hours every day here in our infant room for free. She just loves to come here and hold babies. So we wanted to thank her because it's not easy to just come here for free. So thank you, Connie. She always has a big smile when she's holding our littlest babies, too. Okay. The next two go together a little bit. We have American Legion Post 912 Auxiliary and the Sons of the Legion. They have done a lot of help in getting us supplies. They've helped us with our summer lunch program. They donate to us all the time. We had a rough spell last summer here where we didn't have much money. And Steve came in and said we needed to change our light bulbs, and we said we can't afford light bulbs right now, Steve. And within a week, we had light bulbs thanks to the Sons of the Legion. So thank you to both those groups. We got Steve here for us, Steve Burko. You can get it too, right? And Karen Jalno, you can do the auxiliary one for us. And along the same line, we wanted to thank the American Legion Post 9112, the entire organization. They have supported us throughout the years through the lunch program, through donations, through helping us get our flags. Pretty much anything we need, if we ask the Legion, they find a way to contribute to it. So we wanted to thank them tonight. They gave us a huge donation last year that really helped us get over the hurdle that we faced last summer, and we're very appreciative of it. So thank you. I was hoping Andre would make it tonight. Andre Labarge is one of our best friends at the Learning Center. She is responsible for getting all of our insurances, and she's actually in the process of retiring, so we're a little nervous. Andre has worked tirelessly to try and get us cheaper rates, and again, last summer was not good financially. She actually paid the down payment herself on the insurance and allowed us to make payments back to her. So that was a tremendous thing. It really saved us, and we really appreciate it. And we hope she enjoys her retirement. She must be golfing right now. And finally, somebody else who saves us very often is James C. Smith and Son, Kim, Carl, and Sally. You can't imagine what the fuel bill is here. And we get behind very quickly on our fuel bill, and Kim always says, pay me when you can, pay me when you can. And we always manage to get paid, but she's very patient about allowing us to work on credit and try and get ahead and try to catch up. And so over the years, they've really helped us out a lot. They also helped us to get our new furnace. They gave us a very good deal on a furnace when we got that 10, 15 years ago. So thank you to Kim, Carl, and Sally. Okay, our last one. We need to take a moment now to honor someone who moved into our lives several years ago. Literally, he bought the house next door. He offered to be our handyman, and I sometimes wonder if he regrets it. We come up with some interesting jobs for him to do, and he does them with care and a need for perfection. If you don't believe me, check out the sinks in the infant and toddler room. We call him in a panic, and sometimes we yell out the back door for help. He does regular maintenance like changing the light bulbs in our ridiculously high ceilings, because none of us are climbing up there anymore. He does plumbing, he does carpentry, he does wiring, he does cleaning, he does gardening, he does shoveling and plowing. What you may not know is that he is also faster than a speeding bullet, more powerful than a locomotive, and able to leap tall buildings with a single bound.
That's not the one I know.
He is Super Steve. A CCLC hero. You're a very good neighbor. He's also part of our security system here. So I'm going to turn it over to Jamie now. She has a couple of awards for her staff.
Thank you. Good evening, everybody. Thank you so much for coming. This is a wonderful turnout, and I was remarking that we have families, we have their youngsters, we have staff, we have former staff, board members, founding members. this is just exactly what we hoped for when we planned this evening event. I'm going to keep my remarks very, very brief, and I hope that you'll have some more cake and cupcakes and cheese and crackers and fruit. On behalf of the board, on behalf of the board of directors of the Champlain Children's Learning Center, I would like to recognize two staff who have been here since day one, and Becky did allude to them a little earlier. And Celine, you remember the week we sat in the red room on low tables in children's chairs interviewing applicants for all of the positions here at the Learning Center. And that is when Julie was hired, and I would like to thank Becky. Becky was hired originally as the lead preschool teacher. And Leanne, would you come up? We have a gift on behalf of the board for each of you. Thank you. It's a labor of love. Thank you very much.
Leanne doesn't want to talk, but Leanne's nowhere near as shy as she used to be. But I guess I speak for both of us when I say it's really an honor to be given an award for something you love to do. That's really the best way I can say it. That says it? That's it. I need to give out a staff award now, and this is for Kathy Tatro. Kathy has been here for 19 years. She took the job because they told her she would only work a couple hours a week. I think she worked 10 hours on her first day. She became full-time and has been the assistant director for all 19 years. She does the jobs that no one else wants to do. She has even shoveled the roof of this building. Most of all, she has a terrific sense of humor and can always make anyone laugh, even in the hardest of times. I can easily say she's responsible for the 3 funniest moments of my life. We keep each other balanced, and I couldn't do what I do without her. So thank you, Kathy.
I couldn't do it without her either. I would be fired before. She let me throw the computer. I'm telling you right now, I did. But it was all in good fun.
That was the second funniest moment of my life. She threw a computer across the room to cheer me up. No, it was an old computer that we weren't using anymore. The funniest part was Kelly came running in because she thought something horrible had happened in the office. So, I want to thank Alice Rye for making the cake tonight. I want to thank Calvin for coming here tonight and filming us. Calvin was here 20 years ago, the day before we opened, to do our first open house. So, when the classrooms were empty and we had no playground and the ceiling leaked and all that stuff. Finally, we have a very special dedication for Jamie Basilier. When Mr. Morgan had his dream 20 years ago, he sought out Jamie to make it happen. She wrote grants, searched for locations, searched for staff, painted, cleaned, and planned. She dedicated a big part of her life to making CCLC a success. She's been actively involved in CCLC for all 20 years. If Bob is the heart and soul of this place, Jamie is the brains and the backbone. She donates time and money and has proclaimed us her favorite charity. She advocates, supports, and inspires. She is there when you need her, need an ear to listen, and is a tireless supporter. She does all this on top of running her own business and serving on many boards throughout the community. Some would say she's 1 in a million, but we think she's 1 in a billion. And we found her a necklace that says 1 in a billion.
Oh my gosh.
It says, you do your thing, and you are seriously amazing. You brighten the world every single day, just by being yourself. Wear your necklace as a reminder that you are one of a kind, the best kind.
Oh,
We also have a photo history of the Learning Center for you. And every time we've gotten ourselves in the paper.
I was studying this before you all arrived so that I could remember dates and such. And Becky walks in and says, oh, by the way, that's a gift for you. Thank you so much. Thank you. I'm hoping that everybody had a great time tonight and had tours of classrooms, if that is what you came for, and met staff and saw children and their caregivers and their parents. Becky, thank you so much for the work that you do. Your leadership skills are top-notch, bar none. We are lucky to have you and everybody else who works here or did work here or is associated in any way. Thank you. Thank you for coming. So there's cake and goodies.
So that's the 20th anniversary celebration here at the Champlain Children's Learning Center on Maple Street in Rouse's Point, the former St. Patrick's School building. So thanks for watching and supporting viewer-supported local television, hometown cable. Programs like this are only possible through the support of viewers just like you, and without their support, none of this would happen. Thanks for watching.